This episode of Blue Canoe is sponsored by Bodybuilt Clothing. If you run, box or do Muay Thai, check out Bodybuilt Clothing and see what you could buy. My name's Aaron Lodge. Most people know me as Bodge. And this evening, we're with George Carter. This is your last training session, George, before you head out to Turin to defend your European title, which you won in October of last year.
Yeah, last training session today, so we've done 5 steady rounds on the pads, just to get moving really. 5 rounds of clinching with Brian, just to feel that kind of sort of feeling of being pulled around, you know, the contact of being knee. Same when you do with the pads, feel the contact on your shins and things like that, just to kind of stay sharp, you know, not lethargic.
Yeah, stay focused. Yeah. Is it a weird feeling on your last training session?
Do you know what? It's probably the worst one. I probably hate it the most, the last training session, because I feel like I want to fight already. I feel like I wish the fight took 5 minutes. 10 seconds we jump in, and we just go. So it's the worst one because it's almost like you're not going to get any fitter, you're not going to get any stronger. So you're just ticking over. You're just kind of there,
like a coiled spring.
Yeah. It's like you're ready to go.
Like a caged animal.
Yeah, you're ready to go, but you know it's just not quite there yet. That's the worst part. It's just the waiting around. Yeah, like waiting for a car crash time.
So this is your first defence of your European title.
Yeah.
You were given the option, am I right in thinking, of either going over to Italy or trying to get something sorted in England?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of them where I could have maybe kind of sort of, I don't want to say use the words played it safe, but I could have chose to defend in UK home soil. But I think when the opportunity came to fight in Italy, Turin, in somebody else's hometown, when they're asking me to go out to defend it, it's what you do it for. So I can say to my son, I've been out to Italy to defend my European title. I was willing to put it on the line and put it all out there and just kind of sort of go for it.
He's a little bit too young at this moment in time to come with you.
Yeah. He doesn't really have a clue what's going on really. I mean, guy get home, his mum takes him, and then
why has Daddy got a black eye kind of thing?
Yeah, sometimes he's poking it and stuff. And when I won my WBC European title, I came home and I showed it him, but he's more interested in Mr. Tumble on CBBS than anything to do with the title itself. So it's something for him when he gets older, I think, so he can look and he can say, look, if you've got a goal, whatever the goal is, if he wants to play chess and he wants to be the grandmaster at chess, but he knows that you're gonna have to give up sometimes on your happiness to follow your dreams and to put the hard work in, and you're gonna have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to play chess and practice against this person again against this person. Then that's what you've got to do.
It's all done online now.
Well, it's even easier then. Unfortunately, you can't really do that here.
No, there's nothing about stepping into that ring that is virtual reality, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be very present in the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It takes you, your kind of sort of sharp mind, sharp focus. You have to be on it. You can get hurt in it if you switch off. So yeah, it's something where you can't afford to be taking it lightly, and you can't afford to be kind of sort of going in there. You don't play it. You don't play Thai boxing. You can play football, you play basketball and things like that, but it's like boxing, Thai boxing. You don't play these things.
No, you don't just do it on a Sunday afternoon with your mates.
No, exactly. So, and I think that's the difference. Yeah. So you do have to think about it in a different way, I think. Yeah.
You've been doing it for a little while now as well. Just talk to us about how you first got into Thai boxing, Muay Thai, and
Yeah, so how I first got into Thai boxing is I was training in kickboxing to begin with. The Thai boxing kind of sort of, it just suited my style. And I knew kickboxing was probably a bit too technical for me. It was probably, probably wasn't flexible enough and things like that. I was a hard worker and I was willing to put the hard work in, but it just didn't quite sort of suit me. And then I got the chance to train with my coach, Lee Chesters. And
who's still your coach now?
Yeah. 10 years we've been together. And really it just kind of sort of went from there. I think he had the faith in me, and without him having the faith in me, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. Really, maybe had a couple of fights, and then that would have been it with another trainer. But without the faith that Lee put into me, I would have never made it to this level that I managed to get to.
What do you think it is that has kind of pushed that relationship for as long as it has? What do you think he saw in you?
I mean, it's a hard one. I mean, he's the best person to ask that, I'd say, because for me, I don't really know, because when I came, I couldn't skip, and I couldn't really kind of sort of, like I said, I'd work hard, but I was very, very basic. I'm still very basic now, but he still has the faith in me now that I'm going to be able to do this, and I'm going to be able to do that, and I'm going to be able to do that. So really, he's the man that you kind of sort of best to ask, because he just keeps putting the faith in me, and I'll just keep listening to him. And it's that kind of sort of relationship. He'll tell me what to do, I'll listen to him. Done. He tells me to bite, and I'll bite. He tells me to sit, and I'll sit. So it's pretty much that's it, and that's the way it's been for the last 10 years, and I think that's why it's worked so well.
I think you've said before that you didn't really vision that this would be the way it's panned out, to the point where you're literally going to another country to defend a European title.
Yeah.
72 hours.
I never imagined I'd be able to get to anywhere near this level. I would have been just happy, over the moon, ecstatic, just to win an area title. Like, for me, that is like the pinnacle. I've made it, for me.
Because you have to jump through a fair few hoops to get to that point before it goes up another level. And
Yeah.
I can imagine that obviously the standard improves, but even an area title, like you're saying, some good fighters at that level.
Oh yeah, massively. And even for my area title, I was the underdog for that fight, and came from behind and ended up stopping him in the 5th round. Along the journey, there's been wins, there's been losses, there's been low points, there's been high points, there's been tears, there's been stitches, there's been blood, sweat, tears, happiness, laughing. It's been a whole roller coaster of emotions. Yeah.
And I can imagine that's what keeps you going, is the ebb and the flow of having to come back from them low points to this point, and then appreciating the highs, and then getting back in the gym, mate, and seeing where the next checkpoint is. I watched a film last night called One Night in Turin. I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's based around Italia 90 and the whole World Cup, and kind of talks about hooliganism and football violence. And I found it quite ironic, really, that someone like yourself, who is a massive Derby County fan, and maybe in younger years experienced times where you'd received a football banning order and things like that, and now you're taking something that you've really mastered in that kind of sector, and now you're going to a place that is as iconic as Turin. Especially being from England as well.
I think that's a perfect example of how something like this brings people together on a mutual ground, and it brings people together in a good way. We're fighting against each other, but we don't hate each other or anything like that. Like I say, we've got common ground. When we step into the ring, we've got, between the two of us, we'll have the most in common, at that time. And it's like I say, I think, if anything, it's a good thing, because it shows that people can come together and fight as such in a respectful way, in a respectful arena, in a controlled way, where you can shake hands afterwards, and what's done,
respect, done. Like you see everywhere around this gym, really. Anywhere you look, that is the mantra that's kind of pumped into the life and soul of this art form, basically.
100%. I mean, Lee always talks to us about, you know, how you have to kind of sort of how you have to be as a person and how you be in the ring as well. And here we're not about faking aggression or anything like that. You've seen us tonight. Everyone's, you know, working hard, but they're sweating, they're smiling, they're enjoying themselves. You know, there's people from all different backgrounds, people of all different ages, and everyone's kind of sort of one together. It's a real kind of sort of open group, and I think it comes from that respect. You know, everyone just respects each other exactly the same. Doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you've done in the past. Everyone respects each other just the same.
How excited are you for Saturday night?
I'm just ready. Like I say, I'm just ready to go now. I think for the last couple of weeks, I've just felt ready to go. So yeah, just my bag. Like I say, my bags are packed. My clothes are out, ready, that I'll be wearing to the airport. Yeah. It's like how I imagine somebody will be when they're kind of getting ready to go on holiday or something like that. When they're you know, the kind
first lads holiday kind of.
Yeah. And a man kind of sort of similarly, you know, setting out, right, this got my gum shield, got my growing guard, and you know, so it's that same kind of sort of excitement, you know, and the anticipation as well. And obviously we'll get there and then obviously go to the weigh-in and everything like that. And obviously the first time I'll see my opponent, then we'll do the face-off and everything like that. And then of course it's just getting ready, and then it's just on countdown then really, and then just time to work hard.
Talk to us a little bit about your opponent, what you know about him.
So I think he's a little bit younger than me. I think he's maybe 10 years younger than me. Tall, fit, strong, looks quite athletic, good record, had some good fights in Thailand. Home fighter, won the WBC Mediterranean in his last fight. So really, it's a tough fight. We are
you both walked into it at the same kind of pace a little bit, like this fight's meant to happen, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and like I say, it's a good opportunity to see where I am as well and test myself. I'm very big. I want to constantly test myself and see where I am. And I think it's a perfect opportunity. He seems very good. Yeah, he seems very good. So.
It's about staying as focused as possible and not underestimating anything that's going to happen and taking it all in your stride.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, he's a dangerous fighter. You know, he's got good hands. He's got strong hands. He's technical. You know, he's stopped people before. So he's a dangerous fighter. He's a good fighter. You know, he's not a joke. He's not any way there to be kind of rolled over. He's there to take that title with both hands off being. All I can do is put on the best performance that I can do personally to stop him from doing that. You know, if I give my best and he beats me, it is what it is. You know, that's just part of the fight game. If I give my best and fight my best and beat him, it's exactly the same. It's part of the fight game. It is what it is.
And like you said, this has already exceeded where you thought it was going to take you. So hopefully that just continues from this point going forward. And
Well, like I say, everything really, since I won my area title, it is a massive bonus. I never expected to be able to do, to go to Thailand, to train in Thailand, to fight in Thailand, and then doing.
How was that as an experience?
Oh, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing experience, and planning to go back again this year. Just living out there, training twice a day.
The motherland of the sport, isn't it?
Yeah. It's what it's all about.
Mecca of Thai boxing.
Yeah. It's like football to us over here. Every corner there's a Thai boxing in there. So it's that popular.
Runs deep in their culture.
Yeah, massively.
A lot of your motivation is quite there, plain and simple to see, and it comes from a lot of the people that are around you, and it comes from people that maybe aren't around anymore. I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the people that really spur you on when you get inside this ring.
I think the one that we spoke about, again, was on the back of Brian's t-shirt and on the front as well. Bobby Dorker, and really he's the kind of big motivation. He's always been the big motivation. I've got people that I think about, like my mum isn't with us anymore, and I'll think about my mum. Like when I walked on the pitch at Pride Park, it was my mum that came into my mind mostly. But when I fight, my mum hated me fighting, so I try not to think about my mum too much when I'm fighting, because she absolutely hated it. She'd come to all the fights,
as any mother should, really.
Yeah, 100, and I can't blame her. She was always there at the fights, but when the first bell went, she turned her back and she didn't watch any of it. But she was there every single one. She was She got diagnosed with cancer for the second time on the Thursday, and I was fighting on the Saturday, and she was still there on the Saturday, you know. So whenever she could be there, she was there. And I'll never forget, bless her heart, when she was going through chemo, first stage of chemo. It shows what a warrior she really kind of sort of was. I completely forgot about this, and I'd lost the fight, and I'd been dropped a few times. Got caught with a jumping knee 3 times in the same fight. 26 stitches in my chin, glued eye. Couldn't really remember anything. And Lee dropped me off from A&E at about 3 o'clock in the morning, knocked on my door and said he's here. And Lee said, my mum just said, well, you know, it happens in this sport, doesn't it? Come in then, and just let me in, you know.
26 stitches.
26 stitches, and she was there, you know, shaved head, and, you know, all like you lost the hair through chemo and whatnot. Still waiting up for me 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, just, well, it's going to happen, isn't it? So, yeah, proper warrior mentality. And yeah, Bobby's the reason why I trained as long as I did in the first place. So without Bobby, I wouldn't have even be probably still training. I'd have probably fallen off somewhere, and God knows where I'd be. So Bobby's a big inspiration to keep his name running, because he only passed when he was 21. He suddenly passed when he was 21, had a blood clot in his leg, worked his way up, blocked one of the main arteries to his heart. So one day he's there, then the next day he's just gone. So no time to say goodbye, anything like that. Yeah, massive impact. And he taught me so much about him passing. And for me, for his family, it's about keeping his name alive, and being able to walk out on that pitch at Pride Park with his face on the crest of my jersey was just absolutely amazing. To be on Radio Derby and be telling them on Radio Derby and be speaking to you guys about it. It's just keeping his name alive. I had someone the other week who was training and said, who's the young lad on your t-shirt? And even just stuff like that, it makes me think that's another person I'm telling about him, and we're keeping the name, keeping him alive.
Legacy.
Yeah. It's that quote: the journey doesn't end when the body stops. His journey will carry on through me for as long as it carries on, until we meet in Elysium in the afterlife, and then we'll be ready to punch each other in the face.
George, best of luck for Saturday night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We have been given the privilege of being able to come along with you, and we're going to document it all, and I'm beyond excited.
Excellent. Me too.
Yes. Top man.
Thank you very much.
No, no, no. You don't love me, and I know now.
At your position on the safety card, the nearest exit.
No, no, no. You don't love me, yes, I know now. 'Cause you left me, baby, and I've got no place to go now.
George, I was anticipating that this interview was probably going to happen about 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Just talk to us about how your day's been leading up to this.
Right, so chaotic due to the strikes in Germany. It's just been an absolute nightmare. So no one's to blame, it's nobody's fault. It's just one of those things. We got to Frankfurt fine, and then got stuck in Frankfurt, missed the connecting flight, and then had to go to Munich, and then they said you're going to miss another connecting flight, and then they had to reroute us to Milan. And then luckily my opponent's trainer kindly came and picked me up from Milan airport, 2-hour drive for him, then 2-hour drive back, and now he's going to go another 2-hour drive and pick my trainer up, because we got split up, and another 2-hour drive back for him. So we got here in the end, just weighed in and all done. Time to refuel and rehydrate.
Yeah, refuel, rehydrate, and I'm sure get some shut eye as well, because
Yeah.
been like 19 hours basically from the time you left your door this morning.
Yeah.
Blue canoe hoodied up and
Yeah. Well, we sat
got the
out.
merch on. and-
Yeah, we sat out on the road quarter to 5. My dad picked me up, took me to Birmingham Airport. So we're finally here. The weigh-in's done. The fight is pretty much ready. Just now, it's all on fight night. Right?
Yeah. Have you ever had to do a weigh-in in a hotel room?
I
Is
have
that-
actually.
Have
Yeah,
you?
I did. I fought a Swedish lad and I had to do a weigh-in, but that was in the hotel foyer.
Yeah.
So that was a bit weirder. We were in the Premier Inn in Birmingham. So this was all right, to be fair. But I'll tell you what, I could have weighed in anywhere.
Yeah.
I was walking around the hotel trying to see if anyone had any scales, see if I could film myself and weigh in and see if we could do that. Or
Yeah, rather
just
than having to be.
Yeah, well, I didn't know where I was going to get here. So when they said,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're going to miss your connecting flight," I thought, I just need to get booked in.
Yeah.
Be weighed in somehow.
Like you say, you're here now.
Yeah.
You can take a couple of hours now to just unwind.
Yeah, I've got to, chill out and
How do you prepare on the day of the fight? So how is tomorrow going to pan out for you in the build up to your fight?
so I think tomorrow morning we'll get some breakfast, depending on what time I wake up really, because again, it's going to be a late night because I'm going to need to stay up to rehydrate. So I mean, normally I'm at home, so I just watch a film and chill out, and then on the day I'll take the dog out, so I'll probably go for a walk tomorrow, do a few bits and
Rams
bobs.
TV?
Might be Rams TV, yeah. I need to get a log, see if someone will give me a login for Rams TV.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do about
And
that.
yeah, that would be good to watch that. Is it 3 o'clock kickoff? That sounds like a plan to me. Sounds like a shout. Chill out, watch that. Because I'm not going to be on a co-main event. Because there's a IBF professional boxing fight for the international title. Who's on main event, a 10 rounder. So we're on just before that. So it's going to be a late one. Again, they're saying they're going to take us to the venue from about 6ish. So it sounds like they've got it all kind of in, planned out under wraps. So we just kind of follow what we're told to do. And
Yeah, it starts now, mate. This
Yeah.
is it. This is the real deal.
we're just ready to go now.
I bet it felt really sticky at some point at the airport today.
Yeah, it felt really sticky. And it just felt kind of sort of just like you're in limbo a little bit, because when they still told me, right, well, you're going to fly to Munich, but then you're going to miss your connecting flight to Milan.
It just
You
becomes
know, it's
longer
just-
and longer
Yeah,
and longer.
you just don't know when the end is going to come.
I was saying on the way here, it doesn't matter if you go to Milan, tomorrow he's not coming back to Derby, mate.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully I might bump into it. I didn't see him in the airport, to be fair. But it was chaotic in man, but I didn't see him in the airport. So
Sweet. Well, get some rest, rehydrate.
thank you very much.
And we're so excited for tomorrow, mate.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
good on you.
Thank you very much.
Tough, mate.
Luke, come back.
We're here in Turin for your son's first defence of his European title. Just talk to us about how you're feeling right now.
Well, I'm feeling a bit nervous. I'm sure he's going to come out here and do the business. He's a machine. He keeps going. The longer the fight goes on, the more chance he's got of winning it. Because he's on it. He's on it.
Value for money, mate, basically.
He's in the opponent's face, mate.
Yeah.
You know.
We spoke to George and he says that winning an area title for him was a real moment and further than he ever thought he was going to go. I mean, how is it for you seeing the journey that he's been on?
I can't believe I'm here in Italy watching George. I mean, we go to Birmingham a lot, like to watch him fight, but to be in Italy having a great day in Turin, we've been having a few drinks, having a good time, it's just amazing really.
It is, isn't it?
I feel exactly the same as he does,
Yeah,
it's a journey.
Straight up. You must be incredibly proud, like you're saying. He's got such a head on his shoulders that it's just whether he can show all of these people that are here, because it's quite an intimate venue, really, isn't it? It's packed out, and it'd be lovely to see him come out and, like you're saying, do the business.
Whatever happens tonight, George is a top man. He's a top person, unbelievable son. I've got 2 sons, I love them both today. George is unbelievable, I'm so proud of him.
And I think that's reciprocated in how hard he works. You can really see the people that he gets out of bed for in the morning, and that's his wife, his son, yourself, people that maybe aren't here to be able to be in the flesh to see him as well. And very sentimental person in that kind of sense.
Well, George is a guy who martial arts turned his life around. Like he had issues when he was a teenager and that, right? And he got into martial arts, and it was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Just managed to focus all of that energy.
Yes, it's all about focusing your energy, isn't it?
And the discipline. And,
yes.
Yeah, Rich was telling us he did a half marathon on a stag do in Madrid.
Did Rich tell you he run the Pennine Way in 5 days? George run from Derby to Scotland in 5 days. Did you not know that?
No.
Well, that was George.
I hope he got a lift back.
He probably did go with that. But he did run it in 5 days.
Incredible.
2 of them. But you can't run together. You run at different speeds, so you're running on your own, really.
And what was that in aid of? Was that just to push himself? Was it for charity?
George, he does do a lot for charity. But I think it's just challenging himself,
All of these kind of moments for him just are another layer of that, of him challenging himself. And he speaks so highly of trying to show his son that his dad went over, and obviously his son's only 2-3 years old at the moment, but there'll be things that he'll be able to watch as he grows older. And
hopefully I'll be able to watch it as well.
Straight up. Mate, I'm so excited to see him finally come out. It's been pushed back a little bit. We've been here for a good couple of hours now, and you can feel it slowly getting towards a point.
There's a lot of people here from Derby.
There is.
And now he really appreciates all the people in Derby who support him.
We're all big Derby fans, aren't we?
Oh, George is a big Derby fan. We're all Derby fans. I'm a big Derby fan, and George is a little over boy. And we're doing it for little over in Derby.
Amen to that.
Amen, mate.
Yeah,
Amen.
there we are. Steve, best of luck. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you very much. Up the Rams.
Up the Rams.
There we are. Tipping Point, mate. Tell me how you've ended up with the nickname Tipping Point.
Well, I was on the Ben Shepherd show, Tipping Point, and I won £10,000 about 2 years ago. It was brilliant, and Ben Shepherd is absolutely the same off camera, really nice guy as himself.
Yeah. Well, I know a couple of people have been on the chase, but they never end up actually winning any of the money. Right?
Well, the thing is, there is a lot of luck involved, because some people can go there and do nothing, and get lucky and get a load of cameras in one go. Figured that if I got more questions right, it improved my chances, and the way it worked out was fine. And I actually ended up the last question tipping over points. So I was very relieved.
Fantastic. How did you spend the money without being too intrusive about it? Did you go away?
I had great times out at night, gambling, and then I just squandered the rest.
In true rock and roll fashion, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Paraphrasing George Best a bit.
So we're here in Turin, mate. We're eagerly anticipating George Carter's defence of his European title against Omar Drissi. This is his backyard, basically, and it's about 20 of us that are here this evening. You followed George for a fair while, and this isn't your first rodeo when it comes to following him fight.
Absolutely. I've probably seen all but one of George's fights. I've known his dad since we were teenagers, so I've known George growing up from being a bit of a troublesome teenager to be a cool, calculating fighter as he is now. and I've got every confidence in him winning the European Championship, and keeping it, bringing it back to England.
It's a really calm sense of watching or anticipating George getting the confidence. I mean, that's the kind of sense I'm getting from people. There isn't nerves jangling and all. It's more like there's faith in his ability.
I've seen a couple of fights where he hasn't won, but that's basically because he's run out of time. Basically, he wears them down through his stamina, his determination, and his refusal to lose. And I'm sure he'll carry on in that
Same
vein.
vein.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you? Have you seen much of Turin so far, or while you've been here?
We've seen a few bars, we've seen some beautiful buildings. Everybody's been great to us, and I welcome the chance to come back again.
Tipping point, mate. Thank you very much.
Nice to talk to you,
And
Aaron.
to you.
Take care.
So, Rich,
Yeah.
we're here in Turin to watch the son that you didn't realise.
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law that you didn't realise you were going to end up with.
Correct, yeah.
Just talk to us about the journey that you've been on to get to this point of seeing him defend a European title in a foreign
Well,
country.
The first time it came about was when Rosie, my daughter, came home, and she said, "Dad, I'm seeing this lad. You might know him, but his dad says he knows you." So automatically, my heart was racing. Where does he know me from? Football. So yeah, I've
There we
got
are.
this on my arm.
There we are.
50 years.
There's a 50-year-old tattoo, by the way.
50-year-old tattoo, which George now calls, and all his mates, old boys tats. Proper lads, yeah?
So you
Yeah.
followed obviously Derby County since a lad, and
Yeah. But it like Rosie come home, and it turns out that I actually knew Steve, his dad, from many, many years through watching Derby as well. So then my son James said, "Oh, I know George." We used to call him Ginger George at the match.
that's what he saved in my phone as
Yeah.
well.
Bit of a lad.
Yeah.
He was a young lad.
Yeah.
But it was strange. I got to know him. He came into the family, realised what he was doing. He was obviously allowed into the family because of his allegiance to Derby. He may tell you that when he married my daughter, that I paid to have the carpet changed from red at Prestbury Hall to blue,
Okay.
of what I could get from a friend. And also on the invites, it stated that at the request of the father-in-law, no red to be worn at the wedding. And everybody adhered to it. Yeah. So there was no red at that
No
wedding.
roses.
No red, no
Yeah.
nothing.
The only rose was your daughter.
Was my
that day.
daughter.
That's
Correct. Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Obviously, that allegiance to Derby kind of goes a bit further than just the football now.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Um,
So obviously fantastic. As a lad, he's incredible. He's got a son. He looks after my daughter. They both look after my grandson, and they're just so devoted, so driven, and it is incredible.
you were telling me a brilliant story that you went on his stag do to Madrid,
Yes.
and you flew out on the Friday,
Yep.
and as stag do's pan out, you went out on the Friday night.
Yep.
And
So-
what did George do?
So what we did, we flew out. There was my son, other son-in-law. We flew out on separate flights. They all came out. We met, went for a few beers, did this, did that. But on the Saturday morning, we couldn't go out drinking anymore because George decided that he was going to do the Madrid half marathon on his stag weekend. Not drinking, but running.
Yeah.
And that was George. So we waited at the end of the line after drinking quite a few.
Yeah, well,
And the four
There's
of
a bit of time to kill,
it was George, his brother Callum, and his other friend James. They finished, and then we went to see Atletico Madrid, where one of the lads who had been drinking fell asleep. But George and them that had run 13 miles just thought nothing about it and sat through
as
it.
if they'd had a leisurely stroll
Yeah,
round.
yeah,
but
yeah,
They've just
yeah.
been sightseeing, haven't they, in the morning,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Incredible.
Oh, fantastic.
Incredible.
Fantastic. So,
Yeah.
how excited are you to see George defend
Well,
his European?
Much I'm excited because I gave up missing my first away game, Oxford, last weekend.
Because it was supposed to be last weekend.
It should have been last weekend, and we were going to coincide it with St James. It's stag weekend, but the fight got moved when we was going to go. We was going to come out on the Friday, watch George on the Saturday, Juventus on the Sunday, and fly back Monday. And it all went to pot. So I lost my money, and I never watched Derby at Oxford. I gave it up.
That shows how devoted he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, yeah. I gave it up for George.
That's it.
Gave it up for George. It has been a good excuse to get away.
Yeah, brilliant. It's not every weekend you get to see your son-in-law fight in Turin, is it?
No, and it's quite disappointing because George always has a flag, which I told you today. He has a flag that when he wins, he shows in the ring. There's only one Georgie Carter with the DLF and the Ram in the corner, and it's not been brought. The rest of the lads don't know, but I've just bought my St George's flag with DCFC on it.
Yes,
It will be on his shoulders very, very shortly.
yes. I bet George don't even know, does he?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
George doesn't know. Nobody knows because they thought we'd forgot. But it's just a little flag that I've had tucked away.
Yeah, brilliant.
But it looks quite scary out there.
Yeah, I mean, as a venue, it's apparently this is the first time that we've been to watch George, but some of the other venues have maybe been slightly bigger and
Yeah, much bigger, but not as intense in there. So it's like we spoke as we walked in. How many English are here?
we're 5%.
Yeah,
Even less than that.
even less than that. And it's a strange area we're in. It's a strange area, but
Yeah, some mafia-looking
yeah.
bar folk.
But
And,
we'll be flying the flag.
yeah, straight up.
Good
Of course we
Derby.
are. Hey, cheers up, and then get the tattoo in again. There we are.
Flying the flag for
Hey.
Derby.
I rock rough and stuff with my afro puffs.
Rock on what your band say.
I rock rough and stuff with my afro puffs.
Rock on what your band say.
I rock on with my bags off cause it's a must. It's the lady of rage still kicking up dust. So let me loosen up my bra strap. And let me boost it with my raw.
Let's go. Let's go back. Let's go. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. I'm going in. Let's go back. Back to the days of snapback caps before Steve Jobs was the real Big Mac. Go Mac D's and spend £2. Get filled up and you get changed back. Back to the days of shirts and shoes. Enfield town meet news and Jews. Songs back then just a body with a sim. No BBM, we were barely texting. Face off ting, 5110. Hear us nightclub under A10. HLC with the mix and blend. Toys R Us working by the weekend. Let's go back. Back in the day you could drive around London and not have to pay. Jump on the bus, it was 40p. Buying vinyls by D&D. Volume 6, diamond rings. Wearing a cap with a gel down fringe. Looking back, them days were jokes. Sovereign cigarettes, them man of smoke. We can't go back. That's in the past when I reminisce now. Smile and laugh. Bring on the future. Live for the day. I've been doing music. Come what may. I don't come from the old school. But I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing of the times I was younger. To this day, I still got the hunger. I don't come from the old school. But I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing of the times I was younger. Blend. Beat. Cup. Back. Cup. 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 Cup. just learn though. When Camden Palace was in a cocoa, waiting crew used to show old school like Nike and Max. Back in the day, we rinsed to take backs off. Exposure, Sun City, Liberty, Northwood Market, a bite to the free. So many takes, so many ways, so many kids then, but they were the days. Used to get hyped from hearing the bass. Beat, clap, back, clap, 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 beat, clap, back, clap. When you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you I missed out on so many things like Lily Lana mixing down. Rock on Lloyd dropping Angle Marble, DJ Easer breaking in Tesco. I never got to see Top Jam mix. I never got to hear Charlie Brown. If I was the doctor and had the targets of playing these see patient go bust hard. I don't come from the old school, but I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing the times I was younger. To this day I still got the hunger. I don't come from the old school, but I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing the times I was younger. Blend. Beat, clap, back, clap, 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 beat, clap, back, clap. When you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim. Kill a man sound with a bigger boy flow. Wanna see the gal right down low. I wanna read tunes my way as you go. So sorry crew outside the tree now. Before these heroes still ever made whole. Back when record shops used to learn though. When Camden Palace was never cocoa. Raving crew used to show I'm old school like 7-inch vinyl. And I believe in the 10-year cycle. When music comes, a music go. Wanna be an MC, keep your toes. Never know who's watching you. When you're on the mic up in the venue. Be a next man, ready to find you. Want to be an MC and take your title. No way, ain't gonna happen. They copy it so you can never take a my lyric are mine. Yours are yours. I got the lyrics to make the crowd go. I'm old school like back in the day when the Fresh Prince had a high top skin fade. 1990s, garage with the dick. Gucci suit shambles, we would sit. Beat, clap, back, clap, 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 beat, clap, back, clap. When you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you get ready, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you Kim, when you let's go. Let's go back. Let's go. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. I'm going in. Let's go back. Back to the days of snapback caps before Steve Jobs was the real Big Mac. Go Mac D's and spend £2. Get filled up and you get changed back. Back to the days of shirts and shoes. Enfield Town meet news and Jews. Phones back then just a body with a SIM. No BBM, we were barely texting. Face off King, 5110. Hear us nightclub under A10. HLC with the mix and blend. Toys R Us working by the weekend. Let's go back. Back in the day you could drive around London and not have to pay. Jump on the bus, it was 40p. Buying vinyls by D&D. Volume 6, diamond rings. Wearing a cap with a gel down fringe. Looking back, them days were jokes. Sovereign cigarettes, them man a smoke. We can't go back. That's in the past when I reminisce now. Smile and laugh. Bring on the future. Live for the day. I've been doing music. Come what may. I don't come from the old school, but I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing the times I was younger. To this day, I still got the hunger. I don't come from the old school, but I gotta big up the old school. Reminiscing the times I was younger. Blend. Beat. Clap. Back. Clap. 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 city living. Northwood Market, I bite to
Yes. What's going on, my brother? You good?
I'm alright.
Yeah.
I'm alright. Just watched George Carter's defence of his European title.
Yeah, we have excellent fight.
It was. It went the whole 5 rounds.
Yeah, and if anyone who watches it back is going to know that George won that fight.
Yeah.
Clearly won that. Not even just saying it on a biased one and the fact that he's our friend, but he genuinely won that fight.
I think from top to bottom, he was much more consistent. Maybe the judges were looking at going out of the box a little bit because he had a few more tricks in his repertoire, but did any of them really come to fruition? Was there any?
Not really, you know. I think, you know, out of that gym that Omar came from, the fight that was before George's, he was the only fight who fought well. Yeah, the rest of them, it was just all about dancing, do those jumping knees, elbows that weren't connected. Because even if you watch that fight back, the majority of things he was throwing were just elbows and jumping knees that weren't connected. No power in there.
I had a little look at the opponent's face after about round 3 and thinking he's taken 3 or 4 elbows to the face. And it was almost one of them fights that you just wanted to see go a couple more rounds, just to see who really fell apart.
Yeah, no, 100%. But you know what? Fair dues to the guy. Like, he didn't drop, but he definitely was struggling. And you know what? Me and my little brother just met him, just there, and trust me, his face is bust up. But it's just one of them things. Look, yeah. For that guy, it was a very good fight because he's never going to come across as an opponent that's got heart like George. Yeah, and that's got that hunger like George.
Can you see there being a rematch?
You know what? If there is, they're going to train long and hard for that, yeah? But they're going to try their best to dodge it. But my little brother said to the guy, he grabbed Omar by his hand and said, listen, rematch in England. And he was like, yes. So Omar, make sure you do that rematch.
Yeah, you heard it here first. It'd be lovely to see. I've been speaking to people tonight, like family members, and this isn't the first fight that you've come to see George.
It's not. I was at his last fight actually, a men's fight. Obviously, I've been seeing George fight from school playgrounds, upwards.
That's how far back it goes.
Yeah, literally,
Same year at school.
Same year at school, from year 7 upwards. So we met a little over school, pretty much same friendship group. We kept in contact from when we left school, and George is probably one of the few out of like the lads from school I still kept contact with. And you know, it's real love. Like for example, he came to my wedding, invited me to his wedding. So it's not just like friendship with sports, actual friendship.
It runs a little bit deeper than that.
Deeper, man. And you know what? Yeah, I know you're gonna ask me this question, but I just want to get it out. I'm sorry that I'm rushing away. Is that anyone who knows George, how far has he come? The way he changed his life around, discipline, off any sort of drinking, anything like that. Got to give it to him, man. He's a real soldier in real life, like so much.
Yeah, straight up. And this has been a 10-year journey up to this point where he's able to basically provide entertainment for his family and friends and provide a journey that ends up with us being in Italy. And
there we go. And that alone is commendable. You know what I mean? Wins and losses, they come and go. But the fact that he's even out here on the international stage, you know what I mean? Especially coming from Derby. First of all, Derby.
And he had the option to just play it safe and have this in England the first time round.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a rematch personally.
100%. I think we need that rematch because then we'll really see what's happening, and definitely on home soil this time. Because then we'll see where the dynamics go.
And we'll see if he can cut the mustard with however many people, because there's up to 1,000 people coming to watch George Carter now. So hopefully this is the start of that. I think he will appreciate every single little ounce of support. This is just one grain of sand in a massive journey that's going to happen.
George, you know we've got you. You know that all of the acts have got you. You know the whole of Normanton's got you. Derby, Little Over's got you. You get me, fam? Thanks very much for having me, my brother. Thank you very much, man. Respect.
Talk to us.
Right, here's what it is, man. Alhamdulillah, George. Hopefully strong, a very good performance. And I said to my man, listen, I want it back in blood. I want a rematch, UK soil. Get me?
Straight up. You hear all these stories about how when you go onto foreign soil, you have to go above and beyond just to get a decision to go your way. Do you feel like that has...
Bro, I haven't seen him so confident in my life. You know what I mean? I even said to my brother, he starts off slow and he lets the first time out.
I feel like 5 rounds is never enough for George Carter. He looks as if he's just getting into it.
Check this out.
And then the bell goes.
I remember doing my podcast with him. He basically, the best way he would love to do it is if he was fighting non-stop, no breaks. You told me that's a warrior. That's more than a warrior. And you know when he said that to me, I go, what do you mean? He goes, I prefer our arms getting locked off with the person who drops the first and loses.
And it just literally is like that bare knuckle fight to the death kind of. Yeah, he is a pure warrior. And it took him 17 hours to get from England over to Italy, and the way it was dedication. He was supposed to be there at 6 p.m. It would have been nice to have a big weigh-in and have a few people there, and it ended up being in a hotel room. But he looked so calm and composed, and so this is just a tiny little bit of. Look, we're running back in the UK, bro.
SKS Empire, I know you lot are watching this. Get me involved. I'll do the promoting if you want. Boy, listen, we need it back in UK, you get me? You can do big events back in the UK.
It'd be a big event as well. He's built this following up now. Talk to us about the venue here. It's an intimate one, isn't it? It's not
a nice one. You know what? It feels like with the people who come forward with the guy, it was like, how shall I say, a welcoming people. You know what I mean? It felt like people are coming in, they're generally here to support, they look people. And you know what, to be honest, we met some nice people around us.
Yeah, even
when George, when they put all the guys up, they looked at us, they were like, oh look, condolences, but we know George should have won. His own people are saying that.
Did you drive down from Milan?
Yeah.
And you got to go around Juventus' stadium as well?
Yeah, I see that. I love football as well, but the United top of
He's got to get it. He's got to get it. Because you got Fulham in the FA Cup tomorrow, innit?
Yeah. Why we done that? Right,
what, City in the semi-finals?
Sitting on the arse. Listen, I treat football teams against United like they're my ops, bro. Fuck the ops in here. I just like to go to the top, baby.
AB, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much.
So, George, back on home soil.
Yeah.
How are we?
Good. Achy, but a bit banged up. But yeah, I mean, I've had a fight, so
it's to be expected.
Yeah, it's just to be expected. The usual, really.
You don't look too bad at all, mate. Is that like? Talk to us about like the undercurrent of that. Do you feel sometimes after fights like you might not look as if you've really been banged up?
Yeah. So it's more like I can move around fairly well and stuff, but like standing up is a little bit tight. And my son at the moment is adamant that he wants to jump on my shins and kick my shins, and it's my shins that are mainly kind of like banged up and ballooned up and stuff. So doing certain things, I'll do something and I think, I'm not doing that just yet. Or
don't mind a piggyback, but
yeah. He's certainly reminding me that I've been in a fight. Put it that way. So,
as he's supposed to at 2 years old, mate.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know. I mean, yesterday he pushed a toy fire truck into my shin, and I was screeching. I was literally screeching, and I'm having to say to him, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault." I felt sick. I was saying to my brother, I felt sick for about 4 hours afterwards. Just
fire tricks in the recycling bin now.
Yeah,
it's been stamped on.
Yeah. As soon as he turned, it was straight out the door. That was. But he's not having this again for a while.
That's it. So the result on Saturday, it was a split decision.
Yeah.
Points, loss.
Yeah.
Do just talk to us about that and.
Yeah. I think you know what, I haven't watched the fight back yet. It's one of those, a split decision on when you're not on your kind of sort of home soil. It's a tough one and it can go either way. I felt I'd done enough, but clearly they didn't think that I'd done enough. So it's one of those, and look, I can sit here and say, could have done this and I could have done that, and there's things from my performance where I think I could have done this differently and I could have done that differently, and that's what I'll kind of sort of focus on. What could I have done better to kind of make it even more that I had
more black and white and
yeah. I think it's easy to kind of sort of sit back, maybe blame other people and blame other things and situations and scenarios. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to change what's happened. And most importantly, it was a brilliant fight. Everyone enjoyed it. I was clapped off by Italians when I was leaving to go back to the changing room. I had Italians shaking my hands, and that's what it's about. It's like we spoke about before, how sport brings everybody together as one on mutual ground. everyone, all the people that came out to support me said that they had such a warm welcome from everyone. You find mutual ground. Me and Omar found mutual ground in that ring by punching and kicking and hitting and elbowing each other. And there's a really, really nice picture of us after in the change rooms together where, Lee's got a swab on, my head for where I got cut from an elbow, and his trainer's got a swab on his eye from where I cut him with an elbow. And we're both sat there smiling, and it's a fight. So that's the important thing. It was a good, entertaining fight for the fans and for the supporters and for the sport as well. We both went out there. It was a bloody battle. We're throwing elbows, punches, kicks, knees, and that's the important thing. So
For me, I just wanted to see it go for like 3 more rounds.
Yeah.
Just to see who was going to stop the other one, basically.
Yeah.
It'd have been brilliant to
Yeah.
not fought to the death, obviously, but just to that point where,
Well, I think,
literally...
like AB said to you, that it would suit me personally best to have no rounds, no rest, and you either fight until the ref jumps in and stops it, or someone kind of gives up. Like kind of olden day times. You just go. You just keep fighting because I seem to start off slower and get stronger. So
You wouldn't have ended up fighting till 4 o'clock in the morning if that had been the case, because we were already quite behind time. Wasn't
yeah. We weren't far off 4 o'clock when we eventually ring walked anyway. So
Do you find that? How do you stay focused for them extra hours that you maybe not anticipated that you'd have to wait?
I think it's all a test. It's all a test of your character, how you can kind of sort of get with it, and not knowing when you're going to go out. We thought it was going to be this time, and then all of a sudden they changed it to no, you're going out in 20 minutes. But we were ready to go, and we kind of expected that. This is just how these fight shows can run. 1 minute you could be waiting 45 minutes because there's 3 fights to go. The next minute, every single fight could end in a first round knockout, and you're out within 15 minutes. So you just got to be ready to kind of sort of go. And that's what you're there to do. And
Don't start doing a crossword or anything.
no,
Sudoku.
no, exactly. So it's it's just listening to music and things like that, moving around, hydrating, making sure you're eating, and just staying on top of your game as such. Really,
So we're here also with your brother.
Yes. Yeah.
How are you, first and foremost, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
So you didn't actually end up coming out to Italy for this particular trip, but George has spoken quite highly about the amount of support and just what an inspiration you are. So just wanted to tell the audience a little bit about what you kind of do. You're a big marathon runner.
Yeah, well, to be fair, George is the big inspiration to me, just the same really. But I've run 6 marathons, going to run the 7th one in about 10 days' time in Brighton, looking to finally break 3 hours. But like I say, I took it a lot more seriously since George took up fighting. He kind of inspires me to push it further, become a lot more serious with the training, like stopping the drinking, all that sort of thing. I've kind of taken off George. Not so much the healthy eating completely, but when George did Heavenly Desserts the week before you meant to run a marathon, but you can't say no, it's fine.
That's it. Did you sample?
Yeah, it's all carbs, isn't it? It's fine.
This is yeah. So we're actually sat in Heavenly Desserts because you've been able to finally get your hands on something that's here.
Yeah.
You've chosen here as well because
it's
Bobby's birthday today.
Yeah. So it's Bobby's birthday, who obviously we touched on in earlier interviews, and it's one of his favourite places to come to, Heavenly Desserts. And my brother actually had his favourite dessert. It's called I'll Have What She's Having. Waffle with all the works on it. Yeah. So that was a good reason for him to have it. So we come every year to celebrate his birthday. And he'll be up there kind of sort of having his own Heavenly Desserts and, smiling down on us all, having a laugh together, thinking about him. So
straight up. I can imagine it's quite a funny one, really, that you have to be so disciplined throughout these training camps. And this is like a double whammy of being able to unwind, but then at the same time, remember somebody who was very, very close to you as well.
Yeah. I think we're quite sort of fortunate that the fight was this Saturday just gone, because it's happened quite a few times where the fight has been this week coming. So everyone else has been at Heavenly Desserts, and I have a fruit plate instead, which is fine. But it's nice to actually have something that I know Bobby would have enjoyed having as well himself. As if he'd been looking at me thinking, "What are you having a fruit plate for in Heavenly Desserts?" So it's nice to come and have something. And think, yeah, if you're looking at it, yeah, that's nice. That is. So.
What's next for George Carter?
I think the next thing is support team for my brother for his marathon. In a couple of weeks' time, me and my old man will be going down to Brighton to support him. Like he says, hopefully break 3 hours. I know he's been working extremely hard to do it. So that's the kind of sort of next thing. And then for me, rest the body, heal the body, come back, speak to Lee, look at where the plan is. Maybe Thailand. Fight again in the UK at the end of the year. Just more exciting fights for people, entertaining fights for people.
It's gonna be a big one in England at the end of the year.
Yeah, hopefully. I reckon so. Yeah.
Built up a decent following. A lot of the people that we spoke to had obviously talked about being on foreign soil and there being a lot less people than there would normally. But some of the numbers that people were talking about that actually follow you as a fighter now is like it's grown quite dramatically.
Yeah, I think it's grown quite well, but it's just kind of organically grown because I don't really do a lot of social media and things like that, and kind of sort of just keep myself to myself when I'm training. Don't really post up a lot. Yeah, my dad does a lot of the social media stuff.
Big on Facebook.
Oh, he loves Facebook. Absolutely loves Facebook. So yeah, I think it's just people, friends of friends, and then I've got a real kind of sort of loyal, supportive group of people that have been with me from really early days and are still there now. So I'm just lucky and grateful that those people stick with me through. They've stuck with me through the wins and through the losses and through the ups and through the downs. But they're still, they're still sticking with me. They still believe in me, and if they're willing to come and watch me,
it does. It matters so much, and it's such a two-way thing when it comes to the support, and I can imagine that just spurs you on, and then it spurs them on because they have to be part of this journey that isn't always rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not, and it can't be like that, and it is. I don't think it's supposed to be either. And
No, and I think sometimes a lot of people get that, and I think that's why a lot of people continue to kind of sort of turn up and show up and come and support, because they do understand that, and they understand the highs and the lows, and they're part of the journey as well, which I absolutely love. So like my brother said, we inspire each other. We speak to each other every day about. I'll talk to him about my training, and he'll talk to me about his training. But we're part of each other's kind of sort of journey. At the same time, we've pushed and we've motivated and we've inspired each other. It's the same with everyone else. You push, you motivate, and inspire. Get inspiration from other people.
One of our favourite stories that we've heard over the course of this whole weekend is about your stag do.
Yeah.
In Madrid, where you decided that, well, from what you've told us, there was two groups of people, and some are football lads that love a drink, and others were a bit more fitness based and to do with martial arts and that kind of stuff. And you actually went and did a half marathon in Madrid on your stag do.
Yes, yeah. So obviously my brother was my best man.
Yeah.
So I think you had the hard job.
Yeah, so I had to organise a stag do that catered for these two groups of people, like you say. We went to Madrid. We kind of planned we would do this half marathon. Half the stag party was still asleep when we set off this half marathon. But obviously in England, fancy dress running is normal. Everyone thinks. You go to Spain, no, literally not a thing at all. We were like celebrities running this half marathon, dressed as cool run-ins. We got a little inflatable bobsleigh with us. Every 10 metres we were getting, come on, venga. They'd never seen anything like it.
I bet you're sweating like is it?
It was certainly warm. The hard thing was going to the toilet, because obviously it's a full suit, isn't it? So
not tripping over each other's legs was the
not
hard
tripping
thing.
that wasn't easy either. So, and especially I'm a much more slower runner compared to this guy. So having to kind of sort of balance it out, they're trying to pull ahead a little bit. I'm thinking, I'm feeling this pace, whereas other people again, it was even that pace is hard for them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if like when you watch the boat race for like Oxford, Cambridge, and you see how in sync they are and everything else, at least it's only like you have to be, but with a bobsleigh cool runnings thing on, it only takes one person.
We
tripping up,
definitely
doesn't it?
weren't in sync.
Yeah, we weren't in sync whatsoever. I mean, we were running side.
What a brilliant story, though! And then you went to the football afterwards after running a half marathon.
Yeah. We went to. I can't remember who Atletico were
Atletico
playing.
Madrid were playing. Someone.
They won 1-0, I think.
Did they?
Yeah, they won 1-0. I think Griezmann scored. They won 1-0, but yeah, that was really good. And then went to a karaoke bar afterwards and stuff, and so it had everything in it.
If the Carters did stag do's,
It had literally everything in it.
Yeah, we survived to tell the tale.
Just about survived to tell the tale. Just. There was an incident with police. Let's we'll just say. Yeah. There's an incident with police, and our passports were nearly taken off us.
running around in that kind of gear, mate.
Yeah. So, but luckily,
The bobsleigh never made it back.
Yeah,
So
the
quick
bobsleigh.
getaway we had to make with the police.
yeah, the bobsleigh didn't make it back.
Sanka, you're dead. Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was very close.
Someone
Very
did bring a
close.
lucky egg.
Someone did bring a lucky egg, and he was the person that almost ended up costing us a visit inside the local Spanish authorities, shall we say.
Stag do's, though, innit?
Exactly.
George, first of all, thank you for
No,
allowing
thank you.
us to be part of what has been an unforgettable experience. And I hope that going forward, this isn't the only Blue Canoe episode that gets
certainly
done.
not. No.
And I wish you all the best for your fighting career going forward.
Thank you very
because we've only just become part of this journey, really. Although we have known each other for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Come up to me when I was 15 at school. He was a couple of years up, and he knows my cousin quite well. And he just went, if anyone gives you any shit, just come and let me know. What, who's this lad? I didn't even know who he was. But there's been a few years of that kind of thing happening, and it's been nothing but enjoyable, mate. And it's brilliant to see where your journey is going, and I have the utmost faith that 2 years down the line that you'll have continued to do everything. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
And Matt, thank you for lending your time as well, mate.
No problem.
You've got a pretty cool brother here, to be fair.
Oh, he's the cool one.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep up with this guy.
He's the one. Like I said to him, like, whatever happens in the fight, it doesn't matter. We're always proud of him. Just for what he's achieved already, it's amazing when you think back, like 5 or 6 years ago when he first started. The fact that he's going abroad to fight, he's giving people holidays. It's like giving dad a night away, giving everyone. Literally, they're getting a free holiday, not a free holiday, but an excuse for a night away because of you. But all the things you've done, like, it's amazing, really, what you've achieved from where you started. But it's all deserved. Like the hours he puts in, honestly, it's incredible. You wouldn't believe. And then balancing that, like bringing up Jax as well. Yeah, he's the real inspiration. Definitely.
Sounds like a brilliant way to end the interview, mate. Thank you very much, lads.
Thank you, Aaron.
Legend. Thank you, Matt.
Cheers.
Top man. Up the Rams.
Up the Rams.